In today's lesson, we're going to look at how to write and solve proportions. And proportions are basically when we have two different ratios. Remember, we can write a ratio as a fraction. And we have an equal sign between them because these two ratios are equal proportions. They have the same value. So if I look over here, we have 70 over 10. We're saying that it's equal to, I have this variable c over 60. So 70 over 10 is equal to something over 60. Now I can solve for the variable c by doing multiplication. What I want to do is look at these bottom two numbers here, because 10 times something equals 60. If I can solve that, I'm going to multiply the top by that same number to solve for c. So let's have a look at this. 10 times something equals 60. Mental math is going to tell me that 10 times 6 equals 60. Come over here, and I multiply by 6. Well, now I want to do the same thing up top. I don't want to multiply c by 6. I want to multiply 70 by 6. So if I do this problem, 70 by 6, it's going to give me my answer. So let's set up our new proportion here. 60 is going to stay the same. If I do 70 times 6, just happens to be 420. So now for my final answer, I know that c is equal to 420. And I'm going to go ahead and write it down just like that. So remember, in order to find or solve for this variable, we look at the bottom first where we're given two values, and I say 10 times what equals 60? It was 6. So that means I also want to multiply the top number by 6. 70 times 6 equals 420. So now I know that c is equal to 420. In step 2, we are also going to solve for a proportion, but we're going to use algebra to solve our proportion. So if I look over here, I've got 6 over 10. Remember, it's still a ratio, 6 to 10. On the other side, we have x over 25, x to 25. Now I can use algebra, something we learned in previous lessons, to get x all by itself and find out what the value of x is. So if it's x over 25, that's the same as saying x divided by 25. So to get x all alone by itself, I do the opposite operation. And we know that the opposite of division is multiplication. I'm going to multiply over here by 25. The 25 is now going to cancel this one out. It goes away. So we've done what we wanted so far. I've got x all alone. But whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other. So now I'm going to come over here, and I will also multiply by 25. And since this 6 over 10 is represented as a fraction, I'm going to turn this 25 into a fraction, and we know that's really easy to do because all we have to do is put our fraction bar and a 1 underneath it. And now we can solve this problem. We know 1 times 10 is 10. That was the easy part. Now all I have to do is take 25 and multiply by 6. If I work this out, 25 times 6, this happens to be 150. So now we know that 150 over 10 is equal to x. But if I look at this fraction, we know that this can be simplified. So I want to find out how many times 10 will go into 150. That's going to give me my new simplified answer. So let's do that next. Well, I know it'll go in 15 times. So simplified out, that means that x is equal to 15. 15 is equal to x. Just the same way. Same problem actually said two different ways. So now we know that this x is a 15, and I've used algebra to solve this proportion. And now for the final part of this lesson, let's say we're given a statement. And the statement says 8 is to 3 as w is to 12. Now, it seems kind of weird at first, but let's think of it in terms of ratios. 8 is to 3. That should sound familiar to you because remember, when we write ratios, we can either use the word TO, we can use a fraction bar, or we can use a colon. And all that would mean is 8 to 3. So let's set this up as a fraction. 8 is to 3, so all that basically means is 8 over 3. 8 to 3. Now another thing you want to pay careful attention to, when it says as, we know that we can kind of fill that in automatically with an equal sign. So 8 is to 3 as W is to 12. W is to 12 is basically going to be represented as W over 12. So now just like in step 1, I've got proportions that I want to solve for. So let's see, 3 times something equals 12. Whatever that number is, I'm going to multiply 8 by it to solve for W. So let's see, 3 times something is 12. We know that's times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. So now all we have to do is multiply 8 by 4. Eight times 4. W equals 32. Why 32? 8 times 4 is 32. So now we know W is equal to 32. We took this statement, we wrote it down as proportion, and we solved for W.